Hey there everyone! Welcome back to another exciting video for the Shibarium community and its partners. I'm Cezanne Shib, and my mission is to spread knowledge and positivity within the Shibarium ecosystem. This video is the fourth of all X-Space Weekly DAO update series. This X-Space was held February 29th, 2024.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another K9 Finance Weekly DAO update. Hello, you are here very early, which means you are either here listening to the recording, which is great. I appreciate you hitting start on the recording, or you're here in person because you followed the reminder link, or you're here otherwise because you found it. Either way, you're very early to an X Spaces, and I appreciate that. But that means that there is some setup going on. If you're here this early for the recording and you don't want to go through the setup, you might be able to scrub ahead if you're in a hurry. If you're here in person, you're stuck. We have to get guests in place. We have to check microphones. There's basic X Spaces stuff that has to be done. I don't assume that everyone already knows this, so bear with us as we go through usually the first 5 minutes of a Spaces. We get people set up in their places, we pin posts, we check on all the stuff, and then we'll re-roll, restart, and hit it all again fresh. First of all, let's check microphones because Buzz came up while I was doing that. Buzz, how are you?
Mic check, mic check, mic check.
Yeah, man, I can hear you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Very busy right now. Thursdays are kind of my day with the SHIB team most of the morning. So calls with Shai and Cal this morning, and that always gets me very fired up. So I'm in a good mood today.
It's good. Well, I'm glad to hear it, man. That's big stuff. I know that gets you fired up, and I'm glad everybody will get to hear about it. Maybe we'll get a little sneak peek about what you were talking about. In the meantime, I also have another guest who will be here probably a little bit later. Maybe 10, 15 minutes. And we're going to be talking to one of the advisors this week that was named as well. And we're going to talk about some stuff that I know that will capture some community attention. While we're going through this, there are some things you can do to help me out. If you eventually come up as a speaker, remember you can pin posts. If you've got something important that you're going to want to talk about, or a post that you shared throughout the week that's going to be relevant, you can go to your timeline or whatever timeline you need to and share those up top so we can reference that material. If you're a listener and you've got something that you're going to want to talk about, you can use the bottom right corner. Bottom right corner is the comments, which right now is sad and empty. So you should go comment down there. If you've got anything as we're going along that sparks an idea or a comment or a question, that's your section down there to comment along. We'll read that occasionally and make sure that we're not missing anything and see what you guys are saying down there. If you can't come up to speak for some reason, that's your best bet. You also have a share button. You can share the Spaces. That's very helpful. And then you can emoji button, those are still free for now, right? They don't charge you for emojis. So go ahead and hit as many emojis as you guys want as you're listening along if you feel so inclined. So give us about 2 more minutes and I'll do the room reset, and we're going to roll into updates for week. What is listed as week 7. As far as shows, it's more than week 7. But show number 7, episode 7 for the K9 Finance Weekly DAO update. I know Buzz has got some stuff. We'll be doing Buzz's Corner, so I'm not going to let him say too much early up front. This guy says enough in other places, so he doesn't have to carry the weight here. But we will be doing this segment after some of the general updates, where we'll give him a chance to highlight some things this week. That he's talked about some of these things in other places, but just to get him as it were on the record in one of these Spaces, so that if anybody had a question, they could just easily reference back to our own material. That's always helpful. So we'll get to Buzz's Corner a little bit later. That'd be great. Buzz, while we're waiting, can you ping Lightspeed for me and make sure that he's on his way for his segment, please? That would be very helpful as well.
Yeah, of course. I'll shoot my message right now.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Give me about 1 more minute. We're going to roll into that. Like I said, if you guys have questions, concerns, comments, either raise a hand and we'll get to towards the end of this, usually 40, 30, 45 minutes. We'll see if we've got time. No problem at the end probably to get to hands. But it's funny, I didn't know what the attendance was going to be like this week. There's like so much energy in the air. All the other crypto is moving. TGE is coming up. So I'm always interested to see who's going to show up because there's so many AMAs. Buzz has been so many other places. Dare I say, some people that already know the story may have K9 fatigue, but we'll see. We're going to get one good Spaces on the books. I will say up front here before we do the room reset that we will not be doing Thursday Spaces next week. I will bring that up again as we get later into this event, but for those of you that are already here now listening, I'll just throw that out right away. We'll cover out that why we're not doing that in a little bit. That'll be part of our conversation as we go forward. So I see Mahyar's here. I see some familiar faces coming in.
Yeah, Mahyar can come up as a speaker too if he's available. Have definitely been doing a ton of spaces and organic marketing over the course of the last week. So for a lot of people, it's probably like repetitive hearing about K9 and me kind of doing the pitch every time. But I really love these weekly DAO update spaces because it allows us to dive deeper into our like dedicated community and DAO members to give them a chance to learn what's actually going on behind the surface level pitch of what K9 is and what it does. And I think these are going to continue to be very important moving forward to maintain the education level of our community.
I feel like you handed me a baton because I was going to say the same thing. Conversations about needing everyone to be able to say the things that you say when you go out, right? Because eventually people are going to be joining and we all need to be able to answer these questions in the same way. There's complex things being discussed, LSD and, tokens across different networks and stuff. So we all need to have the acumen to answer these questions, at least in so much as that we will be active in groups and we want to participate. So when it comes to how do I participate, one thing is just knowing things. Knowing things is good. So let's do the room reset. I'm ready to roll. If you're ready to roll, I'm ready to roll. So 3, 2, 1, room reset. Hey everybody, welcome back to another K9 Finance Weekly DAO Update, episode 7. You're here with me in your speaker spot. My name is Shane. I go by Pulse Digital when I'm in my informal account, and I am here as your host. I get to do the weekly DAO updates. I am just a community member like the rest of you, but what we are here to do is discuss the things that happened since the last time we were together. And it's just like a weekly news update show where we're going to go over some things that I know that need to be highlighted maybe, and then things that if you have questions about or things that you wanted to talk about or highlight, you're able to raise that hand, come up, and we'll see what everybody says. So without further ado, welcome to the week before TGE. Holy cow. Everybody is worn out at this point, dare I say, in the circles that I talk to, because I'm talking to people like Buzz and the people that are doing the work to get the tokens ready or doing these audits or doing these spaces and stuff like that. So I know how exhausted Buzz is. So we're going to drag him in for one more spaces, at least with us. Like you said earlier, it's a community event and we're just hanging out. But man, you've been pounding pavement, buddy, out there doing spaces. You don't actually have like a count on how many appearances you've made, do you?
I think I do like probably 4 to 5 AMAs a day. Sometimes I announce them to the community. Sometimes I don't. Like sometimes they're in like private whale chats and lounges and things like that. What I've been kind of joking lately that by day it's just Buzz doing marketing, and by night I'm just doing development. And the background, our team is doing development all day and all night. I mean, we had an AMA last night, just a text-based AMA with Turtle, another member of our team, and I think he's pulled like 3 all-nighters this week. And not even that we're not prepared, it's just he's so on the ball that we want to be doing and testing our product and our tokens so much before launch. I just see that Turtle just came into the chat. Turtle, if you want to request a speaker spot and sit up here. Same with Shima. I see Shima in there as well. The team's been doing some great work, and it's been fun.
Yeah, man. And I've tried to get to as many of these events as you've been doing, but like you said, some of them are even surprises for pretty much everybody because I think you're being selective about what you announce. We've talked before in other subjects about you're aware of like fatiguing people. We've talked about like voter fatigue, but in this case too, it's like AMA fatigue. If you try to drive a community to every single AMA that Buzz is doing, the community feels like they're watered down AMAs too. Do you feel like that's one of the reasons you've held back?
Oh, certainly, because when I do AMAs or speaking opportunities and stuff like that to brand new audiences, it's really just an organic marketing tactic to try to educate people about what Shibarium is, what K9 is doing, and it can be repetitive for our own community. So I try to just invite people to the ones where I'm dropping alpha and educating on a deeper topic and something that I like. And if it's like surface level education to a new community, those often aren't the most appropriate for our community to join, even though they are very supportive and come to many of them.
So I have a couple of questions that maybe will make you laugh. with all these events that you've got, you're saying like 4 or 5 a day. So no joke, probably at least 3 to 4 hours of speaking engagements and listening to people react to your spiel. And I don't mean spiel in a bad way, but the old tap dance, the old song and dance that you do. What has been the one thing that you've been surprised as far as like this question comes up all the time and you didn't expect it? Because I know you knew some things you'd have to overcome that would be hurdles, but what didn't you think was going to be a question or a thing that's come up repeatedly? What surprised you?
I would say that I thought that we would get the question a lot more to justify why we're launching on Shibarium. And I thought that we would get a lot of more pushback from the ETH community about like, oh, Shibarium doesn't have much volume and sort of like the inaccuracies that a lot of people from other blockchains think. But whenever I've been asked the question about why Shibarium, and I give the answer of comparing it to other chains and so much more retail interest and so much more support from the SHIB army and the development resources we've had available to us as an official SHIB project, the development community from ETH gets incredibly excited. And Mahyar can probably speak towards this as well because he's at ETH Denver right now and he's pounding the pavement on behalf of K9 with the ETH community there. But it's been a really warm welcome from the ETH community and other communities I've been speaking in when speaking about Shibarium.
Yeah, can I jump in?
Hey, sorry, it looked like...
Absolutely, man. Go ahead.
So yeah, guys, I'm at Denver right now, and I was there last night. So obviously ETH Denver is the largest ETH event in the world. It's got like 25,000 people here. It's not all ETH, but it is a lot. So one of the cool things that I noticed in every conversation obviously I had yesterday was about K9. And one of the things was it was so well received by the ETH community. I think Shibarium was very well received. I think that it was constant, like, how do I get in? When do I get in? Like, why didn't you tell me about this? So there was a lot of that. But I think what I wasn't expecting and really took me back was like how interested the ETH community was. And they see they really see like Shibarium and the SHIB community very different than any other meme coin community. So I think that we're doing the right things. I think the network that Buzz and I have, especially in the ETH community from a developer perspective, can only enhance our product and our project. But it gave me really good vibes, like to the point where I was shocked that how much people were interested, especially in an environment where there's so many other projects being pitched and whatever the deal is. I was able to speak to some really high level people, very high up in especially the ETH community, and they all want to get involved. So if you're in already on K9, great. It's really positive that these conversations are happening. I'm going to go pound the pavement some more. I'm actually on the way to the event right now to just really preach the gospel of K9 to people, and it's really remarkable how they're taking it.
That's so exciting. If you get an opportunity while you're out there, make sure pictures and videos. We'd all love to live vicariously through you getting out there yourself. We are not all able to make it, but I'm sure it's awesome. And if you guys have never been to an event, I did pin one of the posts up top about the event that they have in Canada for Toronto and blockchain futurists too. So make sure you guys look up top and check out that if you are able to travel, or if that's closer to your area, crypto events or something else. And the way things are going right now in the general market and stuff, yeah, I'm sure it's a good time. I've been to events when the market was worse, and I know that it's like, yay, we're keeping a good positive sentiment. So I'm sure ETH Toronto is a good time right now. And thank you for checking in too. Buzz, are you ready? You want to tear into a little bit of news? Because I've got a list of things in front of me that were just things throughout the week. Because like I alluded to at the beginning of this, we're a week away from token generation. You said you're busy. Mayor's busy. Everybody's busy. Even everyone down, even in the Telegram, because we got so many new people joining. Everyone's busy. So why are we busy? What's coming up in 7 days? Token generation event, right? So what happens in 7 days, Buzz? Like, what are we supposed to expect for tokens and stuff? And you don't have to say it like you're talking to people from the outside. We're already here. You don't have to sell it to us. When's the tokens coming? What's happening?
Yeah, so I think for anybody here that participated in the pre-sale, I've set some time aside on Sunday night to actually send people They're pre-sale tokens. When people get them, the transfer function in the smart contract will be turned off. So you won't be able to do anything with them other than add the contract address to your wallet. And until the multi-sig for the DAO turns the transfer function on, which will be on March 7th, which is the TGE date, you won't be able to move them, you won't be able to trade them, you won't be able to do anything. And that'll be the case with everybody. And then on March 7th, right around noon, with the DAO Treasury wallet is the only wallet that'll be able to move K9 tokens at that time. And the only action that we will be doing is adding 50K worth of K9 and 50K worth of ETH into a liquidity pool on Uniswap. And after we do that, we will wait several blocks. And then we will make an announcement that the pool is now live with the contract address. There will be the official contract address will also be on our website. Only trust my account, the official account, our official website, our official social media, official Telegram. Make sure you bookmark those. Very important there because there's enough hype behind this launch where we know there's going to be scammers. There's going to be tons of phishing attempts, and they're going to be trying to prey on people's vulnerabilities and FOMO and the excitement in it. And it's just very important that you take your time, make sure that you're only getting information from a verified source. If you do have a question or something sounds fishy, go to the chat and ask. It's better to ask twice than it is to fall victim to any scammer or phishing attempt out there. None of our mods, and including me, including anyone from the K9 team or the K9 moderators, they will never DM you. You will get DMs. You will have people trying to do phishing attempts. It's just the nature of what happens when a launch is going to be as big and as well covered as ours is going to be. And I had conversations with Shai and Cal this morning. I know that there's going to be a lot of attention on this given what's in place for marketing next week. So I just caution people to be very safe and ask questions before doing. You'd rather ask twice than fall victim to a scam. So just want to make sure people are safe.
And that's going to include things like fake staking sites, fake migration pages, fake attempts to message you. You know, if you use certain terms on X, you're going to get DMs from accounts. This is all, I don't want to call it standard stuff because I'm not trying to dismiss it in a way where we're not taking it seriously. But if you've been around for a little while, you've seen these things before. But don't take it for granted. Like fake emails, you know, saying we need your seed phrase. It's MetaMask and we need you to log in, send us your information and stuff like that. All this is real and things that people have lost money to before. So be very careful, particularly with wallet connect or any type of wallet signatures and stuff like that. Like Buzz said, if you're going to do it, make sure you come somewhere and ask, verify where you got it from. Make sure you're not getting swooped into something. I want to ask a couple of questions. I want to pretend to be the degen investor for those of us in there in the community that might have questions like this. So you said you got, you know, sniper protections in place. So what's stopping me from sniping this? Do you have some sort of massive tax buy wall or something right when this goes live that's going to stop me from getting through if I've got some sort of sniper tech, or why can't I get through?
Yeah, I mean, there's the question of like, hey, is there sniper protection on this contract? Often comes from people who just don't want to. Often the question comes from people who want to build a sniper bot themselves. But the other use case is that people don't want the entire supply to be purchased so that it ruins the project. So I want to talk about just things that we're doing to make sure that the launch goes smooth. First off, only 7.5% of the circulating supply will be in circulation. And we are the ones that are adding liquidity and locking that liquidity. So we're going to be the only whitelisted address who's able to add liquidity and create a pool, which is a really great thing for phishing. Snipers are going to see us add liquidity. They're going to try to buy. And they won't be able to because the transfer function won't be on until we turn it on. So once we turn on the transfer function, that's when people will be able to buy. And other things we're putting in place. I mean, that's a huge one, but other things are that the contract address will be posted probably Sunday night, so that people have it like well in advance. And there's added protections that come with that in second and third layers. There also is a immediate buy and sell tax, so 3 and 10%. So there's a sniper tax there. So there's a lot of things in place to protect people, but at the end of the day, snipers are going to come, and we've done everything that I think is reasonable and our team thinks is reasonable to make sure that the launch goes smooth, and we're very protected.
Is there going to be a max wallet? Like, what if I'm really excited? Is there a max wallet I need to worry about?
No, there's no max. The theoretical max comes at how many tokens are in the pool. So when you're buying a token on Uniswap, there's only 50K worth of liquidity on the K9 side in the actual Uniswap pool. So if in the I got this question in the chat yesterday. It was like, well, what if somebody buys $1 million worth? Well, and there was a sniper bot. Well, they would buy $1 million worth up to a market cap that's probably well over 100 million, and then everybody that was participating in the pre-sale would probably arbitrage that down or sell that down to a more reasonable amount and balance it out. So there's like, we can always talk about these tail end sort of 0.1% things that could happen, but often there's market dynamics in place that already exist outside of our control that'll help that.
That's a really long way to go and make a liquidity joke, my guy. This guy just said, yeah, the max wallet's the whole supply. You took me down a long road to get there, but yeah, you want a max wallet, buy the whole supply. That'd be fine. We'll love that. Everyone would appreciate that. So I guess that's the answer to that. You mentioned buying the whole supply. So what's a whale look like when this launches? Some people want to be whales. I know that's an important thing. What would that look like? What's a whale number?
Yeah, we have a whale chat right now that was set up this week. You have to hold 0.25% of the total supply to be in it. I see some people who are in the spaces right now who are in that chat, and it equates to 2.5 million tokens.
Okay. That'll be a number that you people always ask, I'm a whale, I'm a dolphin, and stuff like that. So we'll have to tag a number for everyone to keep an eye on. So that'll be good. You mentioned, let's see, I'm looking at a list of other things here, trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Vesting contracts. We already talked about these last week. Things are fine there, right? We talked about audits on the vesting contracts. Yep.
Vesting contracts were audited. UI is currently undergoing some extensive unit testing this week. All looks good. It's just the process of how we operate as a development team. It's rigorous testing before going live to make sure everything's good to go. So third-party audit, internal unit tests, some automated testing, and it's a process we're undergoing right now, but all looks good.
That's good. One thing that people are going to ask for, like literally as soon as you turn on trading, right? What the first question is going to be when coin market cap, when listing, right? So those types of things, you have things in place to make sure. And this is where, if Lightspeed were here, I'd put him on the grill for this type of stuff. Having the contract a few days early allows for the early work to be done and for this stuff to be submitted, right?
Yeah, so Mr. Lightspeed, who is the part of the DAO, and he's responsible for listings and data aggregation. He's already started the initial entries, if you will, to places like CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, Etherscan. There's a long list of like 100 different places that I want to say that he sent me that he's already working on, and all of that is very much so in progress.
Aggregators and hardware wallets and tracking sites and voting sites. I don't know how many of you in the audience have ever been through this type of thing before, but there's so much stuff that goes into this you don't even realize. And it really is like it's a slog of paperwork and applications and filling out things and politely responding to emails. And as per my last email, it's it's fun. I'm not as good. I don't want to shock you guys. I'm not as good at that office stuff. when it comes to those correspondence letters and stuff, but it is nice. And that's where Lightspeed is so good at that type of stuff, at negotiating and handling those partnerships and stuff. So it'll be exciting, not just from like a hype perspective, but I'm just curious to see how fast he's got stuff lined up. They don't call him Lightspeed for no reason. So it'll be interesting to see when those things actually start going into place. So as people come into the Telegram and they're asking you questions about that, the when CoinGecko, when CoinMarketCap, when it happens, it's all definitely been worked on. We're also listed on.
This has changed a lot too in the course of the last couple of years. It's used to be just like a process that anybody could do themselves, but now it's like if you want them to speed up, you got to pay them money to do so. And we're trying to start well in advance, where we're preserving the DAO treasury and making sure that the treasury is used for things that are furthering the mission rather than just doing something 2 days sooner on CoinMarketCap when hopefully they get to it in time.
Now, and I'll ask you this just because I've been in crypto too long to ignore it. So when you say 2 days faster, what if retrospectively you thought it would be, you knew it was going to be 3 weeks and not 2 days? Like, because when that pressure's on, and the community's hounding you, I'm not suggesting that it should or shouldn't be done, but it's always hard to know when it's going to go through. So at like the 3 week mark, they've really got you sweating, right? The 6 week mark, holy cow. It's just weird how they'll drag their feet.
Yeah. It's hard to predict how long they're going to take, but I would say that both of those platforms that you referenced, so Etherscan and CoinMarketCap, are both incredibly important for the security of the community, so that people have a place to go where they know is official, there's a blue tick, et cetera, et cetera. So if it was something where they are really dragging their feet and it's going to be a long time after TGE where they would get it up, then I think it would be a very wise thing to pay for, to speed up, and a wise investment for the DAO treasury, just because it's going to keep newcomers to our community safer.
I agree. It's like a sliding scale of how acceptable it would be to have to swallow it and pay for it. So you can just put that on me down the road if we ever have to have that conversation. You can be like, man, you were the one that brought it up, but here we are. I know that you mentioned blue ticks too, because people, I don't know, I don't want to say take this for granted, but I wonder how many people really think about things like the blue tick on Etherscan and how much that differentiates projects, or the blue tick on any other platform like CoinMarketCap. Like it's one thing to get listed on these things. It's another thing to get verified. It's another thing to get the check mark, or whatever the equivalent of that check mark is. And not just the check mark that you pay for, but the one you have to go through a process to say someone's standing up to represent this. So it'll be interesting as those roll in to put together that list of accomplishments. It's always nice to have that one infographic that kind of just has like a bold list of all the check marks that you've gathered as you go. So that'll be fun to check that off. Looking back, we're already on StockTwits. We covered this last week. We talked about being on StockTwits. I'm just bringing this up as a reminder to everybody. If you're not over there, you should be over there. And if you are over there, you should be talking about the K9 TGE that's coming up, because you can write StockTwits posts and K9 could be trending over there. They follow crypto. So that's something that the closer we get to TGE, the more you should be doing your StockTwits posts and stuff like that. And we need to be sharing probably links in the main chat occasionally to some posts. We need to be maybe driving some people over there so we can all work on that together. There are some votes coming up. I want to keep bringing this up because this is the only space where this really, really needs to get hammered into people. Because when you're out talking about the project, this is fun to bring up because it's like, oh, this is how a DAO works. But if you're in here, you really need to think about this. There are some votes coming up, right, Buzz, that are going to be very, very important. Can you go into detail about one of these votes coming up with Ape Terminal?
Yeah, so I'm going to go into detail with both, actually. So the first one will be to elect a management council on behalf of the DAO. People here, if you're familiar with K9, you're probably already familiar with our DAO charter. So the first thing is to elect a management council whose responsibility is to carry out the roadmap as laid out in our white paper, or our light paper. And their second responsibility is, if there are any successful votes that pass through token holders, to adjust the roadmap and adjust anything that is voted on to carry out those tasks. So this week there will be a vote in the pre-sale chat, which is all verified with K9 holders, to give the discretionary appointment to people who are going to be responsible for that, myself included. So I will need to be hopefully successfully voted onto that management council alongside some others. So that'll be an important vote to look out for. Keep in mind that any of these people can be removed at any time with a successful vote being passed by the DAO. And this is really the first vote. It'll be happening again in that pre-sale updates channel. I think this will be, I think it'll be an easy vote that goes through. I think it's clear that a lot of people from the community have emerged that are working on the project. I mean, myself, and there's some developers who are working that I've worked with for a long time, and marketing folks as well. And I think it's going to be very clear who the management council is going to be and should be. So take a peek for that. Probably later tomorrow night, or maybe throughout the weekend. And then the second vote is going to be an opportunity that crossed our desk again. We spoke with a launchpad called Ape Terminal probably about a month ago, and the conversation really reignited from many people who are involved in our pre-sale really rallying for this and encouraging us to do it. Nothing's finalized yet with Ape Terminal, but what is being proposed from them is that there will be a small launchpad offering on March 5th, 2 days before our TGE, where their community, which is the one unique thing is that there's really very little overlap between the SHIB community, which our project is very much so dominated by, and their community, which is heavily integrated into others. So the opportunity there is to do a $100,000 launchpad promotion there, where their users would have a maximum individual allocation of about $200. So K9 would have the opportunity to gain anywhere between 400 to 600 holders before TGE and benefit from the very, very powerful marketing efforts that Ape Terminal's done with, I think, the past 10 projects that have launched there. So the average returns from projects who have launched on Ape Terminal, they told me this morning, were about 20x from projects who were launching there. And the average number of participants, so they run in a lottery system. So if 600 people get to participate in the sale, there's a lottery system that they do on their platform. And the average number of people who enter the lottery in order to purchase tokens is 30,000 people. So then you have 30,000 people who are getting exposed to K9. They're learning what it is. I mean, they're checking out our community. And I think personally, it's a very good opportunity for us to do that with a small amount prior to launch, and could be very explosive in terms of the marketing effect that it could have. But the downside, of course, is that this is a small change to our token economics, and something very small that we would need to carve out from the treasury. So we would need to get permission from the DAO and from our holders in our pre-sale group in order to do this. And so those will be two really important votes, and each of them will have the respective details on them to make sure that people can make an educated decision. And those will happen over the course of the next few days.
So in my mind, and that's all very heavy information, and I hope everybody's listening, and that some people are excited about this, because part of a DAO is political in a sense, because with votes and, talking about candidates and choosing who's going to represent and stuff like that. Is anybody else picturing the Vote for Buzz campaign that I currently was building in my head when he was talking? Because so far, in so much as I've heard, no one else has really expressed a desire to be on that council the way that you just I do hope for your vote to represent you on the K9 council. I haven't heard that. So Vote for Buzz. I'm going to end up making a banner if somebody doesn't beat me by the end of the spaces. We'll have to do a Vote for Buzz campaign. I think that's funny. Interested to see how it all goes, and it will be interesting to me if anybody else decides to vocally come out and stuff. I've always wondered in a DAO long term, these should be more political. You should have people that are coming out saying, hey, I've got the right ideas, I've got the the jazz to take this project places, vote for me or whatever. So kudos to you. Like, I know I don't have to be like, good job, Buzz, for wanting to be on the council for basically your own project, but I do think it's cool that you would come out and say that. I think it's important to vocalize your goals. I think it's important to manifest the things you want and stuff like that. So if you hadn't come out and said, damn it, vote for me, then people wouldn't have known how bad you wanted it. So now I'm more likely to vote for Buzz.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I think given that the DAO is like a month old, it's obviously very nascent. So I do anticipate that this vote will be very much so clean and easy. Like, there's people in the chat right now like Turtle and Shima, Daisy and Turbo, who work with me every single day. They're just quieter and more of a development focused team, right? So a lot of developers just are not comfortable on a microphone. I'm also very shy in person. For whatever reason, I just don't find it difficult to speak on spaces and in AMAs and things like that. But there are clear people who are helping the project right now, including many in the chat. So I think that vote it'll pass quite easily. As for the Ape Terminal vote, as soon as I have the concrete details on that, I will certainly share them. And I do expect that will go through, just because a lot of people who participated in the pre-sale are very excited about it. And Ape Terminal is also very excited about the prospect of working with K9. They said this morning that they worked with another project called Ords. And I guess that was their most successful case study, and they think that K9 can be even more successful in working with them. Who knows if that's a sales pitch or not, but I tend to believe things like that because I tend to believe that our project is incredible and has a lot more going for it than other projects who are listing on launchpads.
Yep. So I'm looking at the clock, and I want to get to, there's one more thing we have to get into, because I talked about it at the very beginning of the spaces, and this will carry us to the point where we'll be ready to sign out. We are not following a regular schedule next week for this show. I know we're here and gone and here and gone. Eventually this will be a weekly regular show, but again, an interruption to your regular programming, but it's for good reasons next week. And I have a limited availability to discuss details, is what I'll say. Buzz, can you gingerly walk around what we're doing next week, why we won't be here on Thursday, maybe starting with when we will be next here?
Yeah, so on, I'll discuss details. On March 5th, if that is next Tuesday, I just don't have a calendar in front of me, we'll be doing a mega spaces, like sort of like a spaces that's going to have a lot of people that are a part of it, a lot of our key influencers and opinion leaders who were all added into one chat about an hour ago. So they'll all be joining. It'll be a very informative space on what to expect with the March 7th launch, to educate people and inform people on exactly how it's going to go. So that'll be next week. And then on March 9th, at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, there will be a party space. So this will be more of a celebratory AMA. A lot of everybody in the K9 community should be joining, because there will be a very, very special pseudonymous guest who will be joining. He may or may not have an AI voice. We will see. But it's going to be very exciting. Everybody who's going to be involved in K9 is going to be there. It's going to be celebratory. Just talking about how the launch went, how everyone's so excited for the products to be launching, and just giving everyone a high five. And I think there'll be some really unique alpha that'll be dropped on that Saturday space after our launch too, with the person who shall not be named joining.
Super hype. I'm gonna spit that back in a different way. So Thursday we won't be here. Thursday's not a thing next week. Tuesday we will, and we're gonna be doing a Spaces on Tuesday. And what this is gonna be is an opportunity for anybody out there in the audience right now. If you consider yourself an influencer, if you consider yourself to be someone of importance on X with an audience that follows you, and you have been talking or will be talking about K9 Finance, this is gonna be the Spaces you need to direct your audience to attend, because this is gonna be the informative Spaces with the PowerPoint and the projector, and Buzz is going to have one of those laser things to show how LSDs work and stuff. And this is the last damn time I'm dragging him out to do this, because we've had to bring him out and beat him like a rented mule over and over to explain this process. So this one's going to be the big one. If anybody here has got an audience, I want you to bring them to the Spaces on Tuesday, because we're going to educate all your followers and your friends about the launch that's happening on Thursday, which we will celebrate on Saturday. That's the other Spaces. Now, Saturday, I want to be clear, is a victory lap. I don't have room for your bad vibes, my guy. That's not going to be the Spaces. Wear your dancing shoes. We're going to be having a good time. I want to see all of our partners there. I want to see Bad Idea. I want to see Sharby. I just realized that when I said I wanted to see Bad Idea, that I meant that I would have to log in myself twice. I want to see all the other partners that we're working with at all the other brands and all your friends to be there to talk about the launch, talk about you, whether or not you got as much as you wanted or how dramatic it was. And I want to be there to hopefully give the team a pat on the back for how well everything went. So that's the plan for next week. We give Buzz one more time through the grinder on one big Spaces, the mega Spaces. I feel like that puts a lot of gravity on it, the mega Spaces. But we're going to kick its ass. So everybody here from the community needs to be there to show up and bring your friends. And we want the attendance on that one, because that's going to be the good one. Then the Saturday's the party Spaces, if that sounds good. Does that sound right, Buzz? You ready to party?
I am ready to party, my friend.
Cool, man.
And Marcy will be there too. I see Marcy in here. Just want to give a shout out to Marcy. Marcy's incredible, because I mean, I don't know her bio off by heart, but I know that she is a highly esteemed Hollywood professional, and she's working on the SHIB metaverse. And just very grateful to have her there as well. I don't think she's joined many of our Spaces before, so just wanted to give her a shout out.
Yep, I see her down there too with the Shiboshi. Yep, I see it with the VR face and everything. I see a lot of people in the audience this time. I see Lightspeed made it in here, Lago Joe, a lot of familiar faces, Dramage, Alan. I'm not going to name everybody, but now I screwed up, because if I left you out, I'm going to feel bad for it. Anyway, let's do the AMA section. We've got like 5 or 10 minutes left before we would normally get out of here, both because we're running out of content and because we're going to be respectful of your time and not take up the whole day. But if we brought up anything that you had questions about, if you wanted an opportunity to ask about something, before that Spaces on Tuesday, where you're going to have a larger audience to have to contend with and stuff like that, this would be your opportunity, whether that was a question for Buzz, whether that was a question for, I see Lightspeed is in the audience. Some people might have questions about things that are going on for listings or listings information or coin market cap. Can't imagine you'd have a question for me, but now would be the time. Let me check in the comments real quick, make sure I'm not missing anything down there. Some cool screenshots. Nothing crazy, no crazy questions or anything. Must have done a good enough job again. Let's give it 5 more minutes. I want to look at the pin posts. That can always drag it out a bit. Let's see what we've got going on. I pinned 3 things. They're all things you guys already know, but I just want to make sure that you've been through them. First one is the pinned post from our profile, and it's got a thread. That thread has got some good information in it. It usually helps to bookmark posts like that. And when I look at that post, I can see it only has 10 bookmarks. Since that's got a whole list of information about K9 and Lido and staking and stuff, if you're going to be referencing posts on X quite a bit, you might bookmark that one so that you don't have to dig for it later. It always is nice to have referential posts in your bookmarks, so you can check that one if you haven't already done that. Next one is the introduction for another advisor, which he was here earlier. Mahyar was here, the founder of ETH Toronto, 11 years of building crypto ecosystems, and runs some of the largest Web3 communities. That's going to be huge having him on board. He's at ETH Denver right now, which is why he dropped out. He's boots on the ground, as we said earlier, putting handshakes together to talk to people out in East Denver. So that's cool. We also had an introduction to Mr. Lightspeed as another advisor. He's here in the audience. Some of you may or may not be familiar with Mr. Lightspeed's work as a listings advisor. He'll be helping with things like CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, all of the hardware wallets, software tracking platforms, analytics, and numbers and data. So that'll be a name you see a lot. If you guys are not familiar with his work already, be prepared for it. And if you are familiar, very bullish to have Mr. Lightspeed on board, named as an advisor. So those are two people that we're hopefully going to get a chance to dive into a little bit more with everybody at the party spaces or the informational spaces. We'll get into it a little bit more. And then one more that I had up there, Mahyar's post about the next upcoming ETH Toronto, which I mentioned is in August. If you're up in that area and you want to go to an in-person event, I do believe we will have some mighty fine representation at ETH Toronto. So if you have the passport and you can make it, or if you're already in Canada and you need something right there, now would be the time to start talking about it. Now would be the time to say something in the K9 chat and see if maybe there's an event that's going on or somebody you could hook up with, or maybe you can share the costs, some sort of a K9 Airbnb. Go ahead, Buzz.
Oh, I was just going to say that I'll drop some alpha there and just tease maybe the potential SHIB Toronto.
Oh my, that does sound nice. And what I can tell you, my favorite thing about going to an event like that is you get a whole wardrobe. If you buy the right pass, you'll come home with like 9 crypto shirts, if you, pairs of pants and a hat and stuff like that too. So go up to ETH Toronto if you guys can. Check it out. And the last one that's up there is Buzz pinned this one. You want to tell me about the one that you pinned up there, Buzz?
Yeah, sure. So this pinned post is really in regards to market sizing of how large the K9 Finance product could be. This came out of a conversation that I was having with Cal. So right now, there are the metrics that you can dig for and the data on what's going on with SHIB and how much Bone is delegated was difficult to find. And there were some really helpful community members like Chabibi who helped me find a lot of this data as well. So we did this exercise, Cal and myself, to think about this. And right now there's 24 million Bone that's delegated on ETH. And then there's an additional 11.5 million Bone that's staked on Shiba Swap that isn't actually earning any APY right now. And the average percentage of L2 tokens, so Shibarium is an L2, that's used to delegate on these other chains is about 30%. So the percentage of Bone right now that's delegated or staked into Shiba Swap is just about 10%. And that accounts to about $22 million USD of people who are earning less than 5%. So if you go through the whole post, it kind of goes through all of these numbers. But the conclusion of this post was that if there's a lot of Bone out there that's being staked and being delegated, a lot of these people have a reason financially because they will earn more by using K9. And they have that reason to use K9. And if we were to just hit industry averages as a community and as Shibarium, and people started using K9 Finance, which they are going to be motivated to because they will earn more money, that would mint $50 million of K9 Bone directly on Shibarium and immediately 50x the liquidity that is on Shibarium right now, which is incredible. So I think what I like to highlight with this post is that I'm never really going to be somebody who's saying, hey, buy K9, like it's going to be this token that goes to the moon. And my style is more so to educate on what the impact of the product can be. And if you think that this product is going to be impactful, and just looking at those industry standards, I believe that it really, really can be for the Shibarium ecosystem. And if you like that impact and you want to be part of the DAO and you think that this is going to be a long-standing product, then I definitely encourage people to do their own research and see if the token is for you. And that's just my style. It's a style of education and building products that are going to be here for a long time that provide a lot of value, not only to K9, but the broader entire SHIB ecosystem.
Wow. I kind of blacked out after you said 50x, but I caught the end of that. I'm teasing. That's fantastic. That math, by the way, is well appreciated because I think that's what you have to explain to people. When you compare to industry standards, I think that's the best way to do it. Is just say, well, here's what happens other places. Maybe it'll happen like that here. I like it. Under promise, over deliver is something that we talk about all the time. So that's a great way to do that. Kudos to you. Nobody raised their hand, by the way, during any of that. None of the pin posts, nobody raised a hand. So I have to assume nobody wants to come up and talk, which means I'm going to end up wrapping this thing up. We're going to put a bow on it. That'll be another Thursday edition, number 7, that we're going to be done with. Before we do that, I will roll back through one more time and hit some of the points that we covered, and then we'll give Buzz a second to do. Was that Buzz's Corner, by the way, Buzz? That was your Buzz's Corner, was those numbers, right? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I had one other thing, but I think we leave it till next time. It's basically last week I posed a challenge. I let people know that there are Easter eggs in our light paper that pertain to the Latin roots of dogs and canines. And I put a bounty on it that if anybody can kind of find this Easter egg and give an explanation of like what they think this Easter egg could be and post it in our Telegram, that I'd pay a bounty for it. So I'm willing to put up a little bit of SHIB to pay someone if they do figure out what the Easter egg is in that light paper and specifically in our roadmap, if anyone wants another clue. But I don't want to give away the answer yet, because
Don't do it.
when I posed that question last week in our DAO discussion, I don't think that many people really dug for it and just wanted to do it as an exercise to encourage people to read it, understand it, and sort of see what this, I'll give another clue, this evolutionary roadmap is going to be with K9 and how we're really going to bring more DeFi to Shibarium.
Well, I hope somebody can find it. I already know the answer. I'm not even going to lie because we've talked about it, but I hope somebody finds it. That's another week. Let's see. We'll maybe Tuesday. We'll bounce it off, and if nobody's figured it out by Saturday, we're going to reveal it, and y'all are going to miss the money. Lightspeed came up for a speaker spot. What's good, my guy?
Doing pretty good. Just wanted to give a short summary if anyone wants to hear it, but otherwise, I'm cranking away and getting things ready for the launch.
Sure, man. Give me in your shortest elevator speech, what is Lightspeed Crypto Services? I mean, as far as advisory for listings and stuff like that, what does the community have to look forward to from you, and why are you called Lightspeed? What's that even about?
It's about setting up things as fast as possible. That's the work ethic I subscribe to. And right now we're trying to set things up so that the launch will be as safe as possible and that the information of this project will be picked up and distributed far and wide, and so that you can get the mass exposure. So there's a variety of ways that's done, and this is just one of them. But we want it to be safe. We want people to know that it's easily recognizable project, that the smart contract is on various scanners so that people can see that it's one. And all that it's integrated in the most popular wallets, for example, so it's easy to trade. So that's the quick part of it.
And all this data aggregation and basically pre-listing is setting it up so that it's populated on all the sites that generally would be what I talked about earlier, would be what separates the cream, to the top, or the wheat from the chaff and stuff. The little stuff that maybe lazier projects or less diligent projects are not going to do that makes it look better. The check marks, for example, on CoinMarketCap or on Etherscan are very difficult to get generally, right? But you've done those plenty of times, right?
Right. A lot of projects wait until they launch, and it's just a bad time to do that. And we're lucky to have a running head start here. For example, we already got the social set up for CoinMarketCap. We can already post full page articles there if we need to. And so all this stuff will get connected in the days coming. And I just encourage people, as I throw things into the group, to give those accounts a follow, for example, or the project a follow on a different site. But you'll see it all tie up here very soon.
Excellent. I appreciate you coming by. If anybody wants to know more about what he's doing, you can actually see it at cryptolistings.ai. That's his website. It'll give you kind of a glimpse into what he does as far as listings and stuff like that. And if you've seen his work before, you'll know why he gets called Lightspeed and stuff. So I think you guys are going to enjoy watching these things, because when they start to roll in, it can be overwhelming sometimes watching the little aggregator sites pick it up. It'll be fun. Thank you for stopping by. I know you were busy today, Chris. I appreciate you.
Anytime, my friend. Take care.
You bet. Let's get the hell out of here, Buzz. Send you off for your afternoon, man. We're going to see each other again back here with me in the formal wear, at least next Tuesday. And we're going to do a whole boatload of work between here and then. When I say we, I mean every damn person that can hear my voice right now. I'm signing you up to help us promote that space. Like I said earlier, we are doing that as kind of like the last influencer invite. So anybody who considers themselves to be influential within and without the ETH and or SHIB community should be bringing their friends to this space, because we're going to dress Buzz up one more time, get him a haircut, powder his nose, and dress him up before the camera one more time. And we're gonna talk about what liquid staking means for Shibarium. We're gonna make everybody so excited because the market's pumping, and they're gonna go, "Holy cow, this is great! I can't wait to help!" And they're gonna want to do this so much. And you guys are gonna feel very, very enthusiastic for Thursday's token generation event. And we're gonna be like, "Woo, this is great!" We're gonna be so excited. And then we're gonna meet together back again on Saturday to celebrate it. Right? That's where we're gonna be. We'll get together on Saturday, and we're gonna cheer to each other about it. It'll be a little bit later in the day. So if you're, I don't know where you are. I don't want to encourage you to drink in the middle of the day, but maybe you can grab yourself a beer and hang out with us. And that'll be where we see each other again. I got one request during my rant. I'm going to let this dude come up as a speaker, and we'll see how this goes. See what he has to say. Medium follower count, not as risky as normal. We'll see how this one goes. And then we'll head out of here. What is it? 2PD? What's up, 2PD? How are you? My phone.
I'm sorry. I was trying to clap, and the thing went down, and I ended up hitting the speaker.
Damn it, no problem. A very common spaces occurrence. Alan, mark the bingo chart. That's definitely a bingo space on the Pulse X Spaces bingo chart that if you guys have never played X Spaces bingo, it's great when you're in the listeners. I'll get that out next time. But accidentally requested a speaker spot is definitely a spot on the bingo chart. No worries. I appreciate you for coming up to PD. It's good. Now you're a Spaces speaker, man. Congratulations. Buzz, before we go.
And I gave you a follow too, PD. Thanks for coming up and saying something.
Shit, now he's an influencer. Now everybody's going to see that Buzz followed him, and they're going to know he's an influencer. Damn, PD's on board now. Buzz, what's your call to action for everybody before we go? What would you say?
I would say that this next week is going to be incredibly exciting. And if there was any... there's never going to be a more important week to share the messages of K9, to share retweets, to comment on posts and things like that, because there's going to be the most eyeballs on a project ever are when they launch a token. And this is our opportunity as a community to stand strong, represent SHIB. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on us from other communities, and the more that we can welcome people and show how powerful the SHIB army is in terms of our social posts and our sharing and things like that, the better. Because I think that K9 is going to be one of many amazing launches that are going to happen on Shibarium this year, because I'm just incredibly bullish about what all the builders here are going to be doing.
Agreed, man. I'm ready to see you guys next time. I'm going to get out of here. We're going to close the spaces down. My name is Shane. I'm Pulse Digital, hosting in the K9 spot. I appreciate you guys letting me be up here as the community speaker. If you want to hang out again, follow the K9 account. Make sure you got your notifications turned on. We do spaces and we send out the announcements early. So look for that next reminder. It'll be for the March 5th spaces, the pre-launch spaces, guys. I'll see you then. Have a great day. See you next time.